Okay, so back to Genesis 10. I know I skipped around. Well, not really skipped around. I was busy at work. But I just remembered something. Something very important. Okay, right here. Genesis 10:8. Cush begot Nimrod, who was the force of Earth's heroes. He was a mighty hero by the grace of God, hence the saying, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter by the grace of God. Now, here is why this is important. Come on, keep going down. Keep going down. Okay, we're just gonna jump to 6. It's Genesis 6:4. I believe it's Genesis 6:4. It was then and later too that Nephilim appeared on the earth when divine beings cohabitated with human bore offspring. Such were the heroes of old and the men of renown. See, I point this out, I believe. It was then and later too. Right? So, the divine beings seen humans and women, seeing that human women, and took them as wives from among those who delighted them. Now, okay. And he who was the force of Earth's heroes. So was Nimrod? Rod a Nephilim? I mean, it says women, but I mean, who says it couldn't? They could not have just found Crush very happy, and he had to fail. Well, I mean, there is also incubus that are both male and female. See, that is interesting. And if I remember correctly, nah, fuck it. Let's go to 11. I'm already talking on here. Everyone on Earth had the same language and the same words, and it as they migrated from the east, they came upon a valley in the land of shelter and cattle. They said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them hard." Bricks served them as stone, and boatmen drove them into mortar. And they said, "Come on, let us build a city, and the tower tower with the top to the sky to make a name for ourselves, else we shall be scattered all over the earth. God came down. Oh, I guess it's not in here. Okay. Came down and looked at. This is why it's important to look up your resources. Because someone told me, well, I looked up Nimrod because the name sounded familiar. That I heard it somewhere, but apparently Nimrod was the king of Babel. But I don't see it. So we are not even going to take that into consideration if we find some other source. And they migrated. They came upon the valley bricks, and then they came. Let us build. God came down to look at the city and tower that the mortals had built, and God said, if as one people with one language for all, this is how they have began to act, then nothing that they propose to do is without reach. Let us then go and confound their speech, so that they shall not understand another speech. See, if we go back to Genesis 3, is it gonna load this up now? Remember how I said the serpent did not ever lie? Now that humankind has become like any of us, knowing good and evil, and if one stretch out their hand and take of the tree of life, they will live forever. So this is interesting. Thus God scattered them from all over the whole earth, and they dropped and they stopped building the city. This is why it is called Babel, because God confounded speech the whole earth, and from God scattering them over the face of the whole earth. Now this is interesting, but this can just be a simple explanation of why people don't understand, like just mythos. But it's funny the reasons why. I mean, what is such a big of deal to build a tower to the top of the sky? I mean, even if they did, I don't even know if they could. Like, not realistically. The amount of weight you would probably literally have to build a mountain. Well, not necessarily, because they are all sky razors, but you gotta realize, to touch the sky, I would assume it would be at least the atmosphere, feel all into the layer of O3, or is it O4? The ozone. I think ozone is 3. To be considered touching the sky. Or did they simply just mean like the clouds? And so I don't see what is wrong with it. Maybe it was to decrease. It don't really make sense to me. You know. Okay, so I assume this has to do with the tree of life and the different and levels. So they were trying. So those son was trying to reach for divinity. So in essence, though, actual sin was blasphemy because they want to be God. Because I wouldn't call it arrogant. Like, I don't think it's possible. No, what I know, but I mean, they had. See, it says towel to reach the skies. You know what looks awful like a towel? A fucking spaceship. But but the thing is, I don't know why they wouldn't just say ship or boat. Tower seems like a weird wording to think of it as a spaceship. Like, yeah, it does look like it. Maybe it was a spaceship, but they didn't want people to know that it was a spaceship. They would want them to think of it as a building. I don't know. So, it's blasphemy, but I don't know why wanting to be more like God would be blasphemous. No one can become God. Thinking that you can is blasphemous. So their pursuit to enlightenment? Huh. Instead of trying to become one with God, they were trying to become Him. I think that is. I think that makes the most sense. What still is fundamentally the same as arrogant. I mean, it's a different level of arrogance. But I mean, so I guess it stays true to my understanding of what people have says. They just didn't understand why it was arrogant. Well, I mean, sometimes the simplest answer is right. Arrogance. Scared of the earth. This is why they call it Babel, because God confronted the speech and the whole earth, and from there God scattered them over the face of the whole earth. This is the line of Shem. Shem was 100 years old when he begot that name again. Asparash. 2 years after the flood, after the birth of Arpashadi. I'm pretty sure I pronounced this 10 different ways. Shem lived another 5 years and begat daughters. Arpashad had lived 35 years and begat Shalaha. After the birth of Shahalal lived 403 years and begat sons and daughters. Shahala brought Abel. After the birth of Abel, Shalab lived 400 years and begat sons and daughters. Abelard lived 34 years. He got Peleg. After Peleg, Abel lived 400 and begot sons and daughters. Peleg lived and begot Reu. After Reu, Belag begot sons and daughters. Reu lived 32 years, begot Shalig. After Shalig lived 250 years, sons and daughters. Shalig lived 300 years and begot Noah. After the birth of Noah, Shalig lived 200 years and begot Shrug. And Noah lived and begat Terah. Terah lived 19 years and begot sons and daughters. Terah lived 70 years old, and he begot Abram, Noah, and Haran. Now this is the line of Terah, and Terah begot Abram, Noah, and Haran, and Haran begot Lot. Haran died in the lifetime of his father Terah in his native land of the children. Abram and Noah took wives of themselves, and Abram's wife begot Skyra, and Noah's Milcah's daughter Haran. Phosphor and Sarah was infertile and could not have kids. Terah took his son Abram and his grandson Lot to Haran and his daughter Sarah and the wife of Abram, and they set together an arm of the Canaanites for the land of Canaan. But they had to come as far as Haran to be settled there. So Abram is not a Canaanite. I thought he was. Maybe he was real little. Anyways, that's it. Have a good night.